Well, welcome to a Sonic Lab special. Today, if you're watching, is the first day of Music MESSE 2015, and I'm here with Gannon Kashua, who is the technical marketing guru from Uinversal Audio, and he's showing us some new stuff, right?
I am indeed. So at Music MESSE, we're introducing our next generation Apollos. We're really proud of these. All of these new Apollos feature our best-in-class A to D, D to A conversion. So new improved converters, better specs, so they sound fantastic. We have real-time UAD plugins. They all have Unison microphone preamps and are Thunderbolt connected, so we can mix and match Apollos of your choice, up to 4 Apollos in a system, up to 6 UAD devices in a system. So yeah, very excited about that.
So the same sort of physical dimensions, roughly the same connections, but obviously it's a darker, well, there's dark front panel, so dark means business, right?
Dark sounds better. But we also, at the same time, we're introducing an Apollo silver face that is, we're calling Apollo FireWire.
Right.
We've removed the Thunderbolt card, and that is specifically for FireWire customers. So for Windows customers, for Mac users with FireWire-based computers, we have a FireWire solution that's completely upgradable, so you can always install a Thunderbolt card later and upgrade.
I guess the big news there is PC users get to use the Apollo technology, right?
Exactly.
So that's quite,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. FireWire versus Thunderbolt, you still can enjoy real-time UAD processing, Unison mic technology. All of that stuff happens in the interface itself. So you don't need to make the trip to the computer and back again. So the interface, the actual physical interface, doesn't make any difference in terms of your ability to hear in real time.
So the FireWire model, what's that? A quad? A duo?
It's a quad.
Right.
It's the Apollo 8 quad.
Right, okay, so you get plenty of grunt in there to do what you need to do.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So let's take a look at the top one. This guy is the 8P. This is the new one,
That's right. This is a brand new Apollo. It has 8 microphone preamps on it. They're combo jacks, so you can have 8 line or mic preamps. We've added LEDs to the switches on the left here. And then on the other side, we've added some new switches here so you can switch between input monitoring and output monitoring. We've added an alt monitor switch, and there's a programmable function switch that lets you go between dim or alt 2 speakers or mono. So you can program that, and it's a soft switch, so as we add more features, we could change them down the road. In the middle is the Apollo 8, and this is the same I/O as the original Apollo. It has the redesigned converters. It also has the improved switches and monitor functionality. And then on the bottom is the Apollo 16 Mark II, which gives you 16 I/O on DB25s. And all of them are connected via Thunderbolt, so through a single cable. If you want to switch to the back, we can show that too. So through a single Thunderbolt cable from the computer, you're able to send the audio packets, the DSP code, and a distributed star clock, so a unique clocking system that we've come up with here. That allows us to send all of that information and cascade all these units. This is an operating system here. All of these come across with just a single Thunderbolt cable. And of course, these are the next generation Apollos. It also works with the existing Apollos that are Thunderbolt equipped.
So you can stack them all up as well.
Yes, exactly, yeah.
So they all have the Unison technology.
Well, the ones with mic preamps do. Unison
okay.
is a mic preamp technology. So the Mark II, the Apollo 16 Mark II doesn't have any mic preamps, so there's no Unison technology.
Right, okay.
But the 8P, the 8, the Twin all have Unison technology, and we're introducing with the next generation Unison technology on the high Z inputs. So when you auto-sense and plug in a 1/4-inch cable, it auto-senses that you have a high Z input, and then when you apply, say, a stomp box, one of our Unison stomp boxes like the Raw or the Ibanez Tube Screamer, the impedance actually changes. So
it knows you've got a guitar plugged in and adjust the electronics accordingly.
Exactly. It loads the pickups the way the original device did.
So we've got developments on the software side as well.
There are. Shortly after NAMM, we introduced version 8 software, which features Console 2.0. That allows us to take full advantage of the Thunderbolt connectivity between the devices. And as you can see here in the control panel, we can have, in this system, I have 4 devices connected together. We could have up to 6 UAD2 devices connected together. Up to 4 Apollos can be mixed and match of any
So
type.
what would that be? So 48 I/O. Is that 48 I/O? If you've got 16s all the way through?
Well, that's just the analog I/O. If you look at the virtual I/O, at the digital I/O, you can have up to 128 inputs and outputs. So if you look at your flex driver, you can see you can have up to 128 inputs and outputs, and manage them through the flex driver.
And run real-time plugins across all of them as well, right?
Exactly. So with Console 2.0 and version 8.02, which is what the next generation Apollos will run, we've also added some features that are specific to these interfaces, such as monitor output gain. You can disable the output gain of the monitor section here. So if you wanted to run a monitor controller, for example, and do all your external summing, you can use the 1 and 2 outputs as a fixed output, and it bypasses the gain module.
Okay.
And you can also bypass all of the input levels as well. So we have a line input gain disable. So right now you can bypass that and go straight.
External preamps, you just go straight in and use that.
Okay. Exactly. So then all the line inputs become the same, all the line outputs become exactly the same, and we bypass that and give you one more layer of clarity right to the A to D and D to A.
Right.
Yeah, it's very cool. Again, in Console 2.0, and this is something that's across all of the interfaces as well, you can manage what you send to core audio. So, for example, some applications limit the number of I/O streams that you can access, like Pro Tools has a limit of 32 inputs and outputs. If you had 128 physical I/O or digital I/O, you can tell the core audio driver what you want to see. So FlexDriver lets you do that. So you can see in this particular configuration here, I have 8 Apollo 8Ps preamps right up above that, and then I have the 4 Apollo 8 preamps. Then I have the Apollo 16s.
And you can do the same thing. So you can you can name the channels as well.
You can name them. You can make them symmetrical. You can make them asymmetrical, and you can save and store and recall the core audio presets. So that lets you create like a tracking configuration, a hardware insert configuration, a mixing configuration, or whatever you need to do.
Gotcha.
So it's a really flexible and revolutionary way to deal with core audio.
And that would be file I/O based. There's no way of recalling kind of console presets and setups over MIDI or via. I guess if it was inside the DAW document, it would come back as it was. But
that's right. The DAW is going to absorb the I/O streams from core audio.
Right.
So you have to just look at if you're in Logic or Pro Tools or Ableton or Cubase, it will actually suck in what we put into core audio from there.
Okay,
yeah.
gotcha.
Yeah.
And you also got any new plugins? It's very rarely you don't have some new plugins.
Well,
right?
actually, Nick, we do have a new plugin. This is really cool. We have the world's first Marshall branded plugin. This is the Marshall Plexi Super Lead by Softube. This is an incredible plugin. This is developed from the actual Marshall Plexi lead from the Marshall Museum, recorded, and all of the impulses were done by Tony Platt, so Mr. AC/DC. You get a total number of presets here. I think there's over 50 presets that he designed, and there's a little tear-off channel strip on the side here. As you can see, as I click this, it brings up the microphones that they actually used for that, and you can mix them, you can balance them. So it sort of does what Ocean Way does. It lets you take the amplifier source and then mix the microphone sources to it. So it's very, very cool. And that, coupled with our preset management system, lets you do these things such as play the guitar and just scroll through them and hear the presets.
Right, gotcha. You gonna let us have a little listen?
I'm gonna embarrass myself, but yes. So
this is a single coil. We haven't got any humbuckers here.
Yeah,
but this is to give you an idea of the gain, right?
Yeah, we'll drive it as hard as I can, I guess. So I'm gonna just go back to the presets here, and we'll go up to the top, and you can
Classic rock and roll kind of sound.
That's what it's all about. The Marshall is for super high gain things.
These are impulse. So this is not component model technology. It's more about the impulse side of things, right?
This is it's a little bit of both, actually. They modeled the components and the tubes and all that, and then the impulses are gathered from the microphone sources.
A lot of the juice in terms of the bigger kind of plugins that run on the platform are things like modeling the power supply and stuff, which is kind of sounds kind of really unintuitive, but I'm guessing for something like this would also be quite important, right?
Yeah, yeah. This one is it's actually very efficient in DSP. So one of the things that you run into with the super non-linearities and things like measuring the power supply is that they have a very large DSP footprint. This gives you all of that juice with a much smaller footprint, so you can actually track with a bunch of them and mix with it. So just like any of the other plugins, you can track in real time or play in real time and monitor, or you can apply it as a plugin in your DAW. So it gives you the best of both worlds.
So are you finding now that as more, you're introducing more hardware, more DSP power, I mean, I guess this is a bigger kind of poster for more people who are really interested in maybe moving their analog electronics into your world. Are you finding, you've got like a waiting list, a queue? Is a queue forming?
Well, we hope so. And what this is really all about too is, we're really getting a larger focus into real-time performance.
Yeah.
So taking advantage of what the Apollo does best, which is making sounds in real time. So as you plug your guitar in, as you plug a synthesizer in, or you're playing drums in real time, you can process in real time. So hence more real-time plugins. And yeah, the guitar platform is also a direct request from our user base. Lots more requests for classic amplifiers, or the stomp boxes were another great example.
I guess it makes an awful lot of sense, really. And you've got, once you get into real-time mode, that's bound to be what people are going to want. So
that's right.
It makes a lot of sense to do that. So I know on the 8P, we've actually got 8 combi jacks here. So
that's
this has got all 8 of the same mic preamps that are on the original Apollo. Because I remember, obviously, the Apollo review I did, I think I plugged in a beautiful acoustic guitar and a ribbon mic, and it just sounded awesome. And these are all the same.
Those are all
in fact improved, you said.
That's right. They're Unison enabled. So just like the originals, they're Unison enabled. So we do the impedance switching and make they just sound wonderfully.
But the Unison enabling means they can sound like other mic pre's as well.
That's right.
So I guess, this is kind of almost getting into like an 8-channel console that you could use as a standalone, replacing, say, a small. You
can use it live. You could use it with a DAW. So there's a number of applications for it. It's a very flexible in terms of its workflows. You can also stack up to 4 of these together. So you could have 32 Unison-enabled mic preamps in a single system as well. What that would give you is, for example, in this system, I've got the 8P and the 8, so 12 mic preamps all together. I have 12 Neve 1073s all stacked together here. So I can just open these up and you can see, I have a tremendous amount of Unison.
Like a BCM console right there.
Yeah, there's whatever I want. If I want to have the Neves, or I can have APIs, or I could have the UA 610A or 610B. It's the mic preamp of your choice.
Right.
Really cool.
And what happens with the ADAT input? Obviously, you don't get the Unison,
right?
But you can still get the flavour of certain preamps as well. So you could do an entire drum kit. If you were going for lots of mic on a kit.
For sure. Yep. You can add, up to 8 channels via ADAT, and you can do real-time processing on them as well. You can use the Unison mic preamps as standard channel inserts and not modify the impedance. Like for a line input, for example, you still get the line gain and the EQ and all the non-linearities. So it's a great way to expand your stuff, for even on like a 16, which has no mic preamps. Put a Neve 1073 on it. Right.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
So this is obviously the first day of MESSE.
Right.
We also have other videos available. Be sure to watch them. When are these actually going to be in the stores?
Okay, the 8P and the 16 are going to ship this quarter, and the 8 is shipping right today. So right from day one of MESSE, we have them available.
And what about those guys who want to get the Apollo Lev on the PC? When's the FireWire version?
The Apollo FireWire also ships this quarter, so we're expecting early in the quarter.
Right, okay. And in terms of pricing, what are we talking about?
They are virtually the same as what they are today in US dollars. The 8P is a new product, so that takes the place up at the $29.99 level USDs.
Right.
And then the 8 is the same as the current quad, so $24.99.
Yep.
And then the Mark II 16 is $29.99. The FireWire is interesting because we've removed the Thunderbolt card and lowered the price to $19.99, and that's for an Apollo quad.
Right. Okay. So you can access. So PC or not PC, you can still get access to a quad at a lower price.
That's right, and you can add a Thunderbolt option card at any time. So if you do move to Thunderbolt, you can take your FireWire, add a Thunderbolt option card, and there you go.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Gannon. It's been a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
Hope you've all enjoyed this, and we'll see you at the other side of Music Messe. Thanks for watching.